Nanny said to give you a big kiss.
Welcome back to my dark corner of this sick world.
Sounds like a real turn-on.
One day, we are going to do a video celebrating the art of the B-movie chat-up line.
You're quantity, and I'm quality.
In the user review section of IMDb, you can find the producer of Nightmare Weekend talking about how it turned into one of the worst movies of all time.
It's a long story, not very pretty.
From its dialogue,
I'll bet the lucky guy's very well hung,
to this random roadside sex scene, with its incredible punchline,
Well, Tony, she's all pumped up.
it ought not to be possible to make a film this bad.
Unfortunately, it's both possible and very true.
But it's still difficult to review because I have not a clue what's going on.
Danger! Danger!
Okay, deep breath. Jessica's father, Edward, is a scientist and has built her the 1980s equivalent of Alexa, called George.
George,
Yes, my dear?
program the race for me.
But when Jessica plays this game on it, that must be terrifying. Huh, weird. Well, I guess I'll get on with my journey.
Thanks for the joyride, pal.
But Julie here works with Jessica's dad, who, in tandem with this, has developed a cure for psychological disorders.
Killer alley cats to good-natured house pets. You've had complete personality reversals.
Accomplished by turning everyday items into self-administering medicated ball bearings.
It's transforming.
Which I imagine was quite the script conference. Edward doesn't think this technology is ready for humans yet.
Do you still think that loss of inhibitions and suppression of fear is dangerous?
I just don't know.
You don't know if a person with no inhibitions and no sense of fear is dangerous.
You're just another mad scientist.
Anyway, Julie is less cautious and has invited some friends of Jessica to take part in a secret trial.
A whole weekend with nothing to do but relax and get studied by some nut.
Meanwhile, Jessica meets Ken in a bar and comes home feeling strange.
I feel like laughing and crying.
George has the answer.
You are in love.
He said 28 words to her. I counted.
This guy I met, he's so incredible.
It's possible she's getting a false positive from watching a couple having sex while playing pinball. Back at the experiment, one of the girls has brought back a guy. But... is she dead? No, it's just done her makeup. So far, this hasn't changed her behaviour at all.
Now, find a way for me to meet him.
Back with Jessica, who enlists George's help to try and find Ken.
Hitchhiking, 66%.
Hitchhiking, that's it.
Absolutely, you already know which bar he goes to, but wandering by the side of the road seems much more efficient. Can't believe it didn't work. But fortunately, no one in the history of movies has ever had a bad experience hitchhiking.
You got it all wrong, baby.
Luckily, Ken is passing. Well, this tells me all I need to know. I'd just like to point out that the man with the tiny knife is the same one who said this earlier.
You're quantity, and I'm quality.
Anyway, George intervenes remotely. Somehow. Ken takes Jessica to safety, displaying the kind of sensitivity you would expect towards a rape victim.
I sure like your riding back here. I could get used to that.
At the very least, are you going to take her to hospital or the police?
Jessica, I'm sorry. I've got to deliver the parcel as soon as possible.
Jessica's behaviour is equally believable.
Can't we be together tonight?
Bouncing back from trauma, and they go out on a date that night, even after
That we're lovers.
Jessica learns that Ken has been sleeping with Julie.
One thing you're right about. The world did change the day we met.
You mean yesterday. But despite the brevity of their association, the fact that Ken is doing her father's evil assistant, and the attempted rape earlier that day, the date goes well.
I feel his heart is calling me.
Although the voiceover is terrible. And Jessica's not the only one with a date. The girls at the house are also hooking up, despite Annie's misgivings.
I feel like I've been here before.
You've been living there for the past 2 days. Anyway, sexy times ensue.
You were great, Linda. Never had it so good.
I liked it.
But I've had better. But Julie has switched on the experiment. A stern warning against panty sniffing. Anyway, everyone gets hit. Jessica gets involved and Edward saves the day. I'm not sure if it's the fact that he's only just now thought of unplugging it, or the fact that, presumably, he'd run out of sockets in his lab and had to use the one in the toilet.
If you finished playing out your little melodrama, I'll leave now.
So, we're now reaching the end.
How are you going to explain all this horror to the police?
Or the audience. There was a lot to get into this review, but I don't think we left out any explanation. It actually makes this little sense.
What the hell's going on here?
Also, this is the result of Julie's experiment. And this is enough of a success that she can sell to the highest bidder.
We're rich, baby. We're rich.
But if I had to pick just one thing that was wrong with this movie, bearing in mind that everything is wrong with this movie,
Yes, it was horrible.
it would be that characters' behaviour is dictated by what the plot requires, not by how people behave.
It's important to my future. Our future, if it works out right.
Edward's experiment has resulted in 7 deaths. The day after she's almost raped, Julie is almost killed.
You know I love you. I couldn't believe her.
Less than an hour later,
Jessica, sweetheart. Help me get rid of this junk.
well, I guess we'd better get all this cleared up.
Sorry, Daddy, I'm in a hurry. Ken's waiting for me at the ranch.
Sorry, I'm eloping with the man I've known for 48 hours, and why would any of this unspeakable horror or the deaths of my friends change that? Or even alter the tone of my voice?
Why don't you go bitch somewhere else?
Thanks for watching. Join us as an acolyte on Patreon if you'd like to see an uncensored version of this review and to hear us talk more about the film. There is so much more. What movie characters do things that real people never would? Let us know in the comments below.
How do I make love to a ghost?